Okay. Take, what, 7 now? I don't want to make a habit of this. I don't want to make a habit of this. But therapy is expensive. And I don't have time, and I don't have money. Okay, so along the last time I had a bit of a meltdown like this, a friend, whom I'm just going to call a friend because they don't want to be identified. That's mostly my fault more than anything. I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter because they don't care. But anyway, a friend of mine told me, you need to get back to what makes you feel good. And what makes me feel good is not possible. Like, at the time, I said YouTube. You know, making these videos, doing all these things. And it's like, I just can't. You know, it's not the same anymore. Do you want to know why it's not the same? It's because every hobby I have or every hobby I get ends up turning cold and elitist. And, like, nothing brings me joy anymore. And it doesn't bring me joy because there are people who take it too damn seriously. And it ends up ruining it for me. And other people, but mostly for me. Okay, first of all, Taylor Swift, don't care, never did. I don't understand the whole cult of personality kind of stuff. I don't want to. I would prefer not to be seen as a celebrity. Too much pressure, I couldn't ever live up to it. Don't care about football. Never did. As a sickly child with asthma who got beaten up every day on the playground, I didn't get that whole sports ball stuff. And I still don't. I don't know how to set up the bomb, and at this point, I don't want to ask. If you remember that reference from back in the day. Politics. I am sick and goddamn tired. I probably shouldn't say that, because, you know, the censors are going to get mad at me. But screw it. I am so sick and goddamn tired of my view of politics ruining everything. Like, okay. I might be uneducated. Hard air quotes. I might be. Oh, what's the other thing? Uneducated. There's like 3 or 4 things that everyone always calls me when they find out that I'm not into politics the way they think I should be, and it's like you're you're stupid and all this other stuff, and I just don't care anymore. I don't care. Like, first of all, in my purview, no politician has done anything important in the recent years. Like, I guess maybe I am ignorant. to say that about people who supposedly make such big decisions all the time. But I don't see it. Like, what has Biden done? Pretty much nothing. Like, everybody blames higher prices on him, but technically, he didn't do that. That was the companies who are so dang greedy about everything that they fired like 90% of their workforces in order to get more profits that they didn't actually need. Okay? And contrary to popular opinion, he didn't do that. I know I'm going to upset a lot of people when I say that. Also, Trump. What did he do? The answer? Nothing! And it's like, oh, he got us in trouble with this and that, and he made us look really bad. America's looked bad since forever. Okay? America's always looked bad and sounded bad and always been the butt of all the jokes about being stupid and ignorant and violent and what's changed? What has changed? Nothing. Like, a lot of people are gonna get mad at me for it, and you know what? I'm sort of sorry, and at the same time, I'm sort of not. Like, yeah, I understand you feel big emotions about this sort of thing, but I don't. And like, okay, ignorant, okay, uh, privileged, I guess, maybe. I don't know. We'll get into more of that later. But like, you know, am I? Or do I just think differently from everybody else? Okay? Like, a lot of women are gonna get mad at me for not having strong feelings on Trump. And, like, I'm sorry you feel the way you feel, but I have not seen any evidence of wrongdoing. Therefore, I must withhold my judgment. That's something we used to do in this country, you know. Like, we used to wait until evidence happened and then looked at it and said whether or not a person was guilty. I'll get into that more later. Like, I don't care about sports. I don't care about celebrities. I don't care about politics. And, like, that's all I've been hearing about. My feed is trying to get me to vote for Joe Biden so hard. I'm afraid I just don't care. You know, I've gone over this. I've gone over this a million times. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. But the instant you actually want to speak your mind about something, everything goes wrong. Literally all exactly at the same time. Yeah, that's why this is like seventh or eighth attempt at this. Trying to organize my thoughts and be able to speak calmly and mildly and maybe in a way that doesn't result in a mass exodus of subscribers again, or doesn't offend anyone. Really hard to do in this day and age. I wish people would stop it. My nose is clogged. I can't breathe. I can't talk. I sound awful. I feel awful. And like that's just how it is, I guess. So, first issue on the docket. Don't give a crap about politics. Somebody wake me up when the discussion about politics actually matters. And again, there are going to be so many people who are upset with me saying that. And like, yeah, I guess I am ignorant because literally I do not see where who was president was so damned important to what happened. I really don't. Moreover, the political scene for decades has not been meaningful. Okay? Politics, to the majority of people whom I know, at least, is a game of who is the shiniest turd. It's nothing more than an international popularity contest. We're supposed to be debating and coming to an understanding about real, hardcore issues. The fate of the world, much less the United States. And all we do is bicker and complain. Like, what the hell, man? My feelings exactly. Like, dude, fight a battle that matters. I just that that's it. That's my 2 cents right there. I'm losing my train of thought even as I speak. But yeah, I think you understand where I'm going with this. You know, I don't understand why everyone's so zealous about one candidate or another when they're both basically the same. Or they're both saying the same thing, but one is speaking backwards. And yeah, a lot of people are going to say, well, it's important because this. Or they're not as similar as you think they are. And I'm sorry that that's not how I see it. And like all I see are two fat old men in suits arguing about why they should win. And everybody, not even just Americans, everybody is throwing in their 2 cents about it, and it doesn't even matter. Like, America's reputation is screwed. Literally, no one cares. It has been screwed for decades. It was screwed before Trump. It was screwed before Obama. It was screwed before Bush. And every successive president since then has screwed America's reputation worse than it was screwed before. Why do I care? Okay? I guess maybe my depression is showing. Maybe I am as stupid as everyone says I am. Maybe, but I just don't get it, okay? What's the use of talking about politics? I'm losing my train of thought because I don't care enough to keep it. Okay, football. Football has always been something I intensely dislike. Well, not really intensely dislike, more like am generally apathetic to most of the time, except when people throw it in my face and then question my masculinity because I don't follow the sports balls. Okay? I don't like that. Like, I'm a guy who doesn't know what football is and can't explain the rules of football, therefore, I must not be a real guy. You have no idea how many times that's happened to me. And yet you go on dating apps and such, and women are like, hey, we need more men to pay less attention to football. And then when you find one that pays less attention to football, you call him weird. Uh, let's see. Taylor Swift, okay? I have had some of the worst interactions I have ever had with other humans because of people like Taylor Swift. Not that Taylor Swift has done anything personally to me, but the sheer number of people who will refuse to speak to you because you don't follow Taylor Swift is too goddamn high. Okay? The amount of people who refuse to talk to you in general because you don't follow X, Y, or Z celebrity religiously is too goddamn high. Like, I get it. Societal decay. Everyone's dumb. Everyone's depressed. Everyone's hurt and mistrustful, and they want to turn off their brains that are on overdrive because of the world we live in. I understand that part. But could you please make yourself and those like you that are simply fans of an entertainer look less, word I can't say because it's not politically correct. Can we do that, please? Can we agree that would be a better idea? And, you know, while I'm at it, same goes for religion. Like, how many people have refused to speak to me because I don't directly follow their version of God and what God should be? Way too damn many. Politics, religion, every day. So many people invest so much in it, and I don't see why. And moreover, it's supposed to be about coming together. And what is it? It's about winning. It's about being right. It's not about being good people or fixing anything or doing anything. It's that X thinks this is right and Y does not. And I am tired of it. I am so tired of it. Speaking of which, in case you wanted to know what my dating life has been like, that about sums it up. A lot of petty issues that crop up all the time for no reason. Like, political affiliation somehow dictates whether or not you're a good person. As if, two people can't possibly coexist without having differing opinions. I mean, with having different opinions. There's no way, hell, heaven, or high water, anybody with a different religion could possibly just be a good person. Like, why do we do this to each other? Why do we do this to ourselves? I want to know that, Mr. Psychologist Pants. Or Mrs. Psychologist Pants. Or they, them, Psychologist Skort. Or whatever. Explain that to me. I guess maybe it's just my tendency of being an outsider looking in. Maybe it's just, I'm so used to being ostracized by literally absolutely everyone that I pick up on all this stuff and I hate it. Okay, now on to the list of things that I wanted to talk about because, I had to have one so that I didn't let my mind wander a little too much. I guess I'll just let this be one long video. I don't care. Oh, right. First on the docket. Did anyone see the, oh god, I forgot what it was again. It's not Venomatic. It's not Themyscira. Tumblr. Reddit. It's not Vine. Vine's been dead forever. Tumblr, Reddit, Vine. Ugh, I can't remember. There are too many freaking social medias. Let me look this up, because otherwise no one's going to care. You happen to be on the wrong social media, therefore your ideas are invalid. TikTok. Instagram? Was that it? I think it was Instagram. Because that's the only one that jumps out at me right now. But, like, there was a person on Instagram, and she's a cosplayer, and she's basically a normal person. She's like, yes, I'm a girl. I like dressing up. I like wearing dresses. I like doing traditionally feminist, not feminist, feminine labeled activities. You know, I like to cook. I like to clean. I like to wear pretty dresses. And people refuse, absolutely, positively refuse to believe that there's nothing wrong with this woman. Why? Heaven forbid, for just a second, that someone's not gay or not trans or not a they them. Heaven forbid for a moment that somebody is comfortable and happy with themselves the way they are. But no, she's been threatened, she's been harassed, she's had to delete most of her accounts, she's had to move houses, she's been doxxed, among other things, all because she dare be a normal person on the internet. Where does this come from? Why is this a thing? I mean, you ask me, the whole LGBTQ, ALS, ABCD, EFG, HIJK, ampersand, cross-eyed monkey face, whatever it is now, has gone just a wee bit too far. I don't want to talk too much about myself or my own experiences, because then I'm just going to get labeled as a bigot. And stuff like that. So, you know, let's not go there. Like, everybody has the right to do what they want to do within law and within reason. So then, why the hell is it so wrong to just be a normal person? Why do we do this to each other? Okay, this gets into a whole lot of why I don't enjoy the things I enjoy anymore. Because it's not about enjoying anything anymore. It's about being right. It's about being popular. It, why is everything that way now? And it's like, yes, I realize I sound like I'm whining. Unfortunately, my nasal passages are getting more and more clogged every minute. Like, I can't help it. This is the cadence of my voice when I can't talk. But seriously, why do we have to hate on everybody? Why do we have to hate on everything? Like, we know about the hundreds of thousands of celebrity scandals recently. Okay? I think we all heard about Lizzo harassing skinny dancers. And, like, yeah, I'd believe that. Because back in the day, wasn't she, like, famous for being kind of bitchy to, like, literally everyone unless they were fat? Like, I guess I'm not allowed to say that because, fat is a bad word and you can't say it. So much for freedom of speech, am I right? But, like, literally, isn't that something that we have documented evidence of? And if it's not, well, my bad. But, like, don't you just want to enjoy music again? I cannot tell you how many musicians I'm not allowed to listen to because of my race, or because of my gender, or because they did something that somebody doesn't approve of. Granted, if this person is, actually a criminal and has been tried and convicted, that's different. You know, in America, we have court. And, like, going to court and stuff like that, that's supposed to determine if people have done anything wrong. Not mob rule. Okay? Like, seriously, when did we turn into this? So, okay. Some people have been convicted of doing some very heinous things. They deserve to be locked up. They deserve to lose their reputation. They deserve to be punished for the things that they've done. But I know of more than a handful of artists and creators that were accused of one thing or another, and we still haven't heard back about it. Like, it's literally been multiple sets of years, and there was never a consensus. There was never a definite, yes, this person committed a crime and must be sent to jail or prison or whatever. I don't know. Like, where is the proof? Why can't I just enjoy the music I like to hear? Yes, I know, too many torches, whatever. Like why? We can't have people who have differing opinions to us. We can't let people have a fair hearing in a court of law as to whether or not they should be punished for something. We can't agree on doing anything good because being right is more important than being good. Why are we like this? Why must we harass people for being normal? Why am I not allowed to use cuss words on my own channel in my own free time on the internet of all places? You know, I've tried not to talk about censorship. I've tried not to talk about it, but the question remains: why are these rules these rules? Like last time I checked, you weren't even supposed to be on the internet unless you were some form of teenager. And other than that, you're not supposed to be on the internet because the internet has some weird stuff on it. And like if you see it at too young an age, it will hurt you. I thought this was a well understood, documented fact. Like my parents, I didn't have a computer until I was like 17. I wasn't allowed to be on the internet without their permission until I was already an adult. And like they were trying to be careful. They were trying to make sure that I didn't get my little mind warped. It happened anyway, and it was mostly because of the public school system. But they tried, at least. So, why are no one else's parents trying? Why do I have to stifle myself to protect someone else's ego? Okay, so next on the docket, the VTuber who got fired. Okay, so I don't know the full details, right? But I do know that companies suck. You're not allowed to talk about how much money you make because it's considered impolite. It's not impolite. They want control over you, so you can't demand equal and fair wages for everyone concerned. Granted, the big stigma is people are going to say you're a jerk and you need to not make as much money as you do. But, like, if you don't ask, how are you supposed to know? Okay, so the VTuber in question, or many VTubers in question, apparently, had events they were planning and wanted to do things, and their company told them no. And when they went ahead and did it anyway, they got fired for it. And it's like, here's the thing about VTubing. Like I've said a million times already, VTubing is a combination of all of the worst ways to be a celebrity. If you want to be famous, be famous. But don't be a VTuber. Don't be an idol. Okay? It's better that way. For those of you that don't know, because some people don't actually know, that's a legitimate thing. For those of you that don't know, this VTubing thing is like a bunch of people, mostly women, because, you know, sexism, mostly women, they're performers. They do pretty much the exact same thing I'm doing now, except they have a little avatar in the corner who looks like a pretty anime girl, and they play games or they talk about things, and that's why it's a VTuber. Because it's still streaming, it's still YouTube. It's still the same thing I'm doing now, except they're doing it and they look pretty. Well, I suppose my personal bias and judgment aside, that's not the only difference. You know, being fair about it. But, like, that's kind of how it sounds. That's kind of how it looks. Except for this whole thing is a bunch of people modeling their behavior after anime, after certain aspects of Japanese culture. And the one thing about Japanese culture is if you don't do and look and think exactly like we do, then you are a worthless barbarian, and we hate you, and we hate everything about you, and we will always hate everything about you. And, like, you can go ahead and say whatever you want. But that's kind of the way it looks. How hard it is for the rest of the world to integrate themselves with Japan, that's how it looks. Like, not even just Japan, like Asian countries in general. But, like, a lot of different countries and a lot of different contexts. That's what it is. That's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like. Like, Japan has a prevalence for people who are very quiet, very reserved, and don't stir up trouble. And this is influenced over and over and over 1,000 times by a shared culture of mind your own business. If something goes wrong, it's your own fault. Kind of like Christianity, except not. Yes, I know, I had to drag religion into this, but I had to because it's kind of the same thing. Right? So, anyway, Japanese culture, you do what you're told. There is no other question. As a person who grew up in the time and place where he did, that rubs me the wrong way. A lot of people in Japan aren't allowed to express their individual wants and needs. Ask them how they feel about people being gay. Or ask them how they feel about people being individuals. It's a very homogeneous, a very one size fits all sort of society. And it's been like that for years. And there's slowly been change. But nearly the entire country is against it because they don't want it to change, even though it's probably in their best interests if it does. Like, the Japanese response to COVID has got to be the most racist thing I have ever heard. And let's not forget, I am white and male and from South Carolina USA. I'm not some social justice warrior tossing around the word racist to get ratings. Okay? The whole thing is like Japan has such stringent customs, such time-honored traditions that you're not allowed to question. And no one does. That a lot of people don't even know why you do them anymore. Like the whole you beat somebody with a stick because they do something wrong. Oh, what am I trying to reference? What am I trying to reference? The banana experiment, right? A bunch of scientists tied a banana to a string and then put a bunch of monkeys in the room. And like every time somebody, one of the monkeys, reached for the banana, they got hosed or beaten or whatever. And it like eventually none of the monkeys tried to go for the banana. The game doesn't like me talking about this topic. None of the monkeys went for the banana. But like eventually everybody got the gist of if I reach for this banana, something bad is going to happen to me. So I won't do that. But then they stopped beating the monkeys or whatever it was and introduced new monkeys into the tribe. And of course, every time one of the new monkeys tried to reach for the banana, the others would beat the crap out of it. And it's like they learned to do that because that's what happened to them. And like nobody knows why you can't just have the banana, but everybody knows if you reach for the banana, you get the crap beaten out of you. And that's kind of what it's like with Japanese tradition. You don't know what you did wrong, but you did it wrong, and now you're disgusting and evil, and everyone hates you. Like, why people are so obsessed with Japanese culture, I'll never understand. Because 90% of the time, the people who obsess over Japanese culture would never be accepted in Japan. Trust me. It, it's just, why? You know? And it's like, you want everybody to be more calmer, you want everybody to be more polite, but you don't do that by beating the crap out of them when they reach for the banana. You think the rest of the world is acting barbaric, but look at yourselves. Sheesh. Okay, so enough on that tangent. What does this have to do with VTubing? Well, in this in this version of society where they beat the crap out of you for reaching for the banana, there are expectations that you will work yourself literally to death should it become necessary. And many people do. And once upon a time, if you did, you were celebrated as some sort of hero. So and so died on his desk. He's truly a model to the rest of us for how to behave and how to live our lives. Sound familiar? Because, like, the United States was actually pretty heavy handed with that kind of thing back in the day. Like, admittedly, the United States caused that. It's our fault. But besides that, this became the norm to the point where something that's called a black company surfaced. And black companies, as we would put it here in America, are crappy jobs. And like, they don't treat you well. You don't get time off when you need it. You don't get lunch breaks. You don't get fair pay. You don't get this. You don't get that. And yet you are expected to go there and to work for any number of years in order to prove that you have what it takes to sustain a job. And like, if you fail at a black company, it's not the company's fault. It's your fault because you were too lazy. Remind you of like 90% of the jobs that are currently in America? Because it certainly does remind me. But like, anyway, the black companies, right? If you fail at them, you fail at everything. Everything. You can't buy a house. Not that houses are something that is generally bought and sold in Japan. Another tangent we will have to get into sometime later. You can't work another job at another company because this black company ruins the rest of the world's perception of you. Maybe not entirely the whole world, but close enough. It's kind of like when I got fired from Walmart and couldn't get a job for nearly a year because I got fired from Walmart, and Walmart said that I wasn't a very good employee, and literally everybody believed it for like a year or so. Yeah, that stuff happens a lot, and it's especially prevalent in Japan, cause like having a job and working like a 9 to 5 isn't enough for people in Japan. Having a 9 to 5 in Japan makes you look lazy. You need to constantly be working. You need to constantly be productive. Like I said, having a 9 to 5 isn't enough. You need to have a 9 to 9, 6 days a week. You don't get weekends off in other places in the world. The United States is pretty much the only one that has more than one day off a year. Well, not a year, but a week. Like, literally. Like, everyone's always accusing America of being this horrible totalitarian dictatorship. As much as I'd hate to say it, it's not, and there are so many places that are way worse. Okay, so back on the subject of black companies, right? You fail at a black company, you fail at life for years and years and years and years and years. Okay? So, well, what's the big deal? Just go to a different company. You can't. Like I said, they literally destroy your reputation. You cannot get a job in the whole dang country because some black company demanded too much from you. You failed by somehow not living up to extraordinarily high standards that really most people can't live up to in the first place. And then what happened? You lost everything. These black companies are so prevalent that there are at least a handful of companies like this for every industry. For those of you that like Samsung, yeah, don't ever go work there because Samsung is a black company. Like, it is grueling, torturous work. Maybe not in America, but in other places in the world, it certainly is. Like various entertainment companies, especially the ones that want to promote an overly wholesome image that they kind of don't deserve. 90% of what the market does now. They will ruin your life. And of course, you're trying to be popular. Everyone knows what happens in Hollywood. I don't know why we don't try to stop it if it's so bad and so pervasive. Like, no one seems to care about it very much. But that's beside the point. There, there's Hollywood, and there's black companies. Now, imagine what happens when you stick Hollywood into black companies, or black companies into Hollywood. Congratulations! You get the worst of literally everything. It's not surprising that these people burn out so quickly. Imagine if you were required to do literally everything by yourself all day, every day, 6 days a week. Every day of the year. Like, you know how everyone's short staffed at work right now because the big companies think they can get away with it? Because they can, because no one's tried to stop them yet? Imagine that. Except you are the camera crew. You are the music editors. You are the video editors. You are the artists. You are the ones who built the set. You are the ones who do this and do that and do this and do that. You do your own makeup. You do your own script writing. You do your own everything. And you have to be absolutely perfect the first time. Congratulations, you have Japanese idol culture. Idols, yes, they're famous people. I believe I've gone into this topic again, but apparently it bears repeating. Idols are like, famous Japanese people. They're usually singers or actors or some such, you know, stuff. But they are under such stringent. I don't know what else to say. Schedules? Demands? That most of them literally aren't allowed to have a life outside of work. Like, you think I'm kidding, but that is a stipulation in the contract. You are literally not allowed to do anything outside of work because, heaven forbid, somebody see you doing things that are not related to work. Because that's how it is over there. And, like, yeah, okay, I'm biased. I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule. And there are more than enough idols and VTubers and everything else that absolutely love their jobs and everything about it. And that's good. But 90% of the world is not like that. Okay? So, literally, you have a society that is bent on being perfect in every possible way. Think evil Mary Poppins level of perfection. And add in the expectation that you must do everything perfectly correctly at all times. Or else you will lose the option to do anything else. That is idol culture. Like I said, plenty of parallels to Hollywood and the music industry and, like, anything related to being a celebrity, because that's what it is. And these people have horrifying, grueling lives. Any VTuber that has the ability to speak out about companies usually does at least once, if only to say that these people are horrible people. And then the company's lawyers shut them up and we never hear from them again. That is idol culture. Now, here's the thing. Everybody says it's bad. Everybody says that their favorite star should be treated better. Everybody says, oh, what a poor girl, because most of them are girls, because everything is sexist. What a poor girl, we should do something about this. Yet no one does anything about it. Companies don't change their minds because they're the companies. They have money, they have lawyers, they have rights and privileges, unlike most people in Japanese society. Don't get me started on how they handle people being physically disabled, or God forbid, mentally disabled. Look, you don't even want to know. You honestly don't want to know. And, like, I have a flair for the dramatic, but even I think this is ridiculous. So, all that, and the thing of it is, their own fans, quote unquote fans, don't care. Their own fans don't care. Because, again, huge societal expectations that you must do everything perfectly at all times. You couldn't cut it due to the extraneous levels of activity? Well, that's your own fault. Shut up and sing. Why? You feel lonely and separated from society because you're not allowed to have romantic relationships with other people? And it's been proven time and again that that's something people need, even if they don't want to admit it? Too bad. Sing for me. Keep drawing, keep playing video games, or whatever it is that your audience expects you to do, because they do not care. If people really cared about their favorite idols or VTubers or whatever, they would band together and demand the companies treat them differently. Well, for one, again, Japanese companies don't care because they don't have to. The companies have rights, not the people. So, we have a very repressed society. We have very unsatisfactory working conditions. And we have celebrities who are as wealthy as the company lets them be, who are taken care of as well as the company seems fit to let them be. They're all dancing or singing or talking their hearts out, doing what they love, what they want so much, doing everything they can to do everything correctly, perfectly, the first time. And they don't even get paid very much. And it's like, yeah, there are independent idols. There are people who are not employed by big, fancy black companies that kill you if you speak your own mind. What's my render distance set at? Oh my god. Like, literally, my render distance is set to less than. Oh, why is it doing that? So, like, yeah, I think I've made my point. It's only a matter of time until these people break down. It's only a matter of time until these people get sick, or hurt themselves. And it's like, not, oh my god, you poor thing, you need to be taken care of. It's, oh my god, how dare you fail your public? How dare you fail your company? How dare you possibly fail at anything? Ever. You are a disgrace. And you need to be destroyed. Okay, maybe not that dramatically, but pretty much. And this idol that got fired, her company screwed her over, and everyone's like, "Oh, poor you. Why don't you go up to the companies and tell them they can't do that?" And I've said way too much about that right now, and my mind's wandering, and I'm losing my train of thought. But hey, food for thought. You can help. If you're a fan, you can help change the company's perception of people, not only of different nationalities, but of their own nationality, if you want people to be treated like they're human, maybe you should make companies treat people like they're human. Just a thought. Okay, okay. Back onto YouTube now, because, the whole reason I started these rants is because this is what I see on YouTube. Like, remember my whole YouTube used to be a hobby? Like, YouTube was for people who were thinkers and creative and, like, didn't want or need approval from companies and websites and sponsors in order to do what they wanted to do. That's not how it is anymore. And it really sucks. Because back in my day, way back in my day, if you worked hard enough and you were honest enough and did this and did that, you would eventually check off the list. People would find you, and you would find a bunch of people you belong with. You would find people who think like you, and that's just how it worked. But slowly, YouTube got rid of that crap. And it's like, I hate cliques. I hate elitism. I hate people who think they are better than other people because of XYZ. It's been my enemy my whole life. And I admit, I can be a bit snobbish myself. And I need to stop that. But literally, all YouTube is doing is making it harder for people to do what they do, and making it harder for people to get noticed and be seen. And it's not right. And this is what happens when something that was supposed to be a hobby turns into an industry. And, like, I'm not the only person that says this. There's, like, a lot of the old guard YouTubers who feel the same way. In fact, a lot of YouTubers are quitting because, one, they can't keep up with demand anymore. There's only so many times you can get up on your soapbox and preach about social issues. There's only so many times you can play Minecraft for hours at a time. There's only so much you can do, only so often you can do it before it becomes stale, before it becomes boring, before you want to try new things and do new stuff. And you can't, not because there's not people who don't appreciate what you do, but because YouTube doesn't think you should succeed. And I hate it. Okay, this is a very long, long ramble. No one's going to listen to it. No one's going to pay attention to it. And if somebody does, I'm probably going to get called sexist and racist and stupid and all that stuff. But it needs to be said. This is not right. Things that are going on are not right. And someone needs to do something about it. I can't be the only one who thinks we should be allowed to talk about important issues that happen to not be PC. Okay? I can't help. I can't fathom that I'm the only one that thinks cursing isn't a major issue. I can't possibly be the only one who thinks maybe we've gone a little too far in one direction over the other and has ended up ruining everything. But maybe I am. Maybe I'm just an old man now. I am 33. Maybe I'm just an old man that's stuck in the past. Maybe maybe I'm so old-fashioned I can't see the virtue of the new. Maybe I'm just toxic and don't understand the grander implications of the way things are now. Or not. I don't know. I'm tired of the way things are. I want to be able to do what I want to do without having thousands of people freak out because I use stone tools when I play Minecraft. I want to be able to have a conversation with somebody of differing opinions and not be lambasted as an ignorant, sexist, barbaric pig because I think differently than the other person. I want to be able to speak my mind about issues that I feel are important without people telling me that I don't get to talk about them because I'm not X, Y, or Z. I don't want one small portion of the world who thinks they're better than me to control everything in the world. But that's not the world we live in, is it? And I'm ticked off. And I can sit here and talk into my microphone and put hours long videos, an hour and 17 or so minutes now, videos on the internet about what the truth is and why people need to change and what needs to happen to change it, and sit around and spin in circles on Minecraft so that everybody doesn't have the excuse to claim that it's boring because they're sitting in a black screen. Like, I can't be the only one. Or maybe I am. I don't know.